Self-Preservation Society.
It says the Self-Preservation Society.
I'm not gonna hear one more word about Around the World being a repetitive song when that exists in this world.
I don't know how long Self-Preservation Society is.
It felt like 10 minutes.
No, 2 minutes at most. Whereas Around the World is literally 4 minutes of around the world, around the world, around the world.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And what's the problem?
exactly.
This is the Self-Preservation Society. This is the Self-Preservation Society.
Hello.
Hello. Oh my god. I don't remember my one sentence review.
Oh, shit.
I just came up with it in a minute ago.
Oh.
Sorry. Keep talking. Hello.
Hello, and welcome to this very British episode of I Hate Your Movie.
In it.
No, there is none of that in this film.
No?
Don't think so.
Michael Caine kind of has the accent.
No, he doesn't.
He doesn't have the Queen's English for sure.
I feel like there's a very big difference between the Britain this film portrays and the Britain that people seem to be actively fighting for at the moment, like in the riots and shit.
Oh, okay. Way to bring it down immediately.
Yeah, wow. that got serious real quick. There's a scene in the film where he comes out of prison and he immediately goes like, "Take me to my tailor."
Yeah.
And you see that as like, oh, like this pretty British guy. He doesn't come out of the prison and be like, "Hey, take me to Sports Direct. I need my tracky bottoms and
Yeah.
those Crocs."
As a outsider perspective, I've never seen a country where the dividing lines between class was so thick
Okay.
than the UK. It's very pronounced.
Okay, so for those who don't know what we're talking about,
If you're still listening.
because we haven't introduced it in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
This week we watched The Italian Job, the 1969 version with Michael Caine. Me and Dan just locked eyes in a kind of, I dare you to do your Michael Caine impression. In a,
Michael Caine. I'm ready for it, sir. I'm Michael Caine. This is like a more younger whippersnapper Michael Caine, so gotta be faster.
yeah.
I'm gonna do my impression of him in this film. Faster! Do it quicker! Do it better! Because that's what his team leading skills are.
Yeah.
He just goes up to people and shouts at them to do it faster and quicker and better. And people, I'm sure in the 60s were like, that's a leader right there.
Yeah, he's a man.
He's a real man.
He's a leading man.
Yeah. Italian Job. Do you know, spew some facts?
Do I want to spew some facts? I want to hear your one sentence review before I want to spew some facts.
It's like they created this movie in a lab to be the most 60s movie ever made. And I mean that in a good way.
Yeah?
Yeah, I really liked it.
You really?
In fact, I think I loved it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Asterisk.
Yeah.
I can't put this into one sentence, but the way I look at this movie, right, is if you look at cave paintings, you're not gonna be like that stick man that caveman drew was really like artistically clever or interesting. It's more like a historical thing.
Okay.
And this is how I enjoyed this film. It's almost like a historical artifact rather than like a narrative or movie sense.
Right.
Because it doesn't hold up to scrutiny at all. But I really enjoyed it as like a neat little historical artifact.
I surprisingly really like this film. I really do. I do not enjoy classic films in general. I always feel like when films are this old, you have better versions of them that have come since. Not in terms of The Italian Job 2000 and No One Cares, because that sucked with Mark Wahlberg. Essentially, this is a heist film, and there are many, many heist films that have come after it. In like westerns, like Good, Bad and the Ugly, every western that came after it is like a direct copy or a direct rip-off, or it's a direct kind of continuation of that kind of ideal. Whereas, even though every heist film imaginable has been made at this point, this is still unique, and it still has something to say, and it's still like an interesting story start to finish.
Sure. Yeah, I've got like a complete disconnect. If I start to analyze this film in a story and narrative way, it falls apart.
No.
Characters are just nonsense. I'm gonna shit on this movie a lot, but I loved it. I loved it.
You can't be both, man. That's crazy.
That's what a critic does.
No.
That's what.
A critic picks the lane and goes for it. I suppose in terms of like, I feel like that in terms of the A-Team. It's a shit film, but I love it so much.
I wouldn't say it's a shit film. I just think that they didn't know how to craft a story in the 60s. Not really, in terms of film and narrative. I think my biggest gripe in this movie is that there's too many characters, and then they all look the same, pretty much.
Right.
Except two. They're all paisley white.
There are exactly 4 characters in this film.
There's loads more.
There are exactly 4 characters that matter
Sure.
in this film. There's Michael Caine's character.
Yeah.
There's Camp Freddy.
Mm-hmm.
There's the prison guy, the guy that's in prison.
Mm-hmm.
And there's Benny Hill.
Let's take Benny Hill's character as an analytical framework. And yeah, I picked the worst one out of the 4, just to showcase my point.
Okay.
Just to see if we can wiggle out this one.
Yeah, all right, I'm up for the challenge.
So Benny Hill is a terrible comedian.
Okay.
Anyway,
It's your opinion.
well, you haven't grew up on the Benny Hill show like I did.
Everyone loves the Benny Hill theme tune.
Yeah, but that's it. They don't remember the show. Yeah. So every time we have to start that, we have to finish it. That's the rule.
You're gonna edit in the actual song.
I'll try. I don't think we were on time, but I'll try. He's like a computer scientist. They get him in like an asylum or something, right? Something like that.
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah.
Yeah. And they pick him up and he joins the crew. The amazing thing he does as a computer scientist is he replaces a tape,
Yeah.
which is
He
hilarious.
has to program that tape.
I suppose. He could just program it randomly, because that's what happens, is that the traffic goes random.
Yeah, he programs it to be random.
Okay.
And then he has to be the one to say where it goes, because the guys would fuck it up if they didn't go
I
with it.
suppose, yeah. But yeah, his big side story is in this that he likes fat women.
Mm-hmm. They make the rocking world go round.
He keeps groping and harassing fat women. 60s.
Mm-hmm.
But then his story ends where it doesn't end, it just stops.
No, he gets arrested.
He gets arrested, but that's it. Like, that's not ending to his story. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's how I feel about most of these characters, which is that some of those 4, they get even less than what I just mentioned.
I think he gets the least out of the 4 I mentioned.
I'm not sure about that.
Which one gets less?
Camp guy.
Camp Freddy, yeah.
Camp Freddy.
Apparently,
He just stands
this is
around.
fun fact. I haven't said fun fact in a while, by the way.
Ooh.
This is fun fact number 1.
What's number 2?
This is fun fact number 1, by the way.
Yeah.
Apparently, according to IMDb, this film was the first time the word camp was used to mean gay.
Okay. I wonder where that phrase comes from.
I don't know. I was concerned at the start of this film because when they introduced Camp Freddy, I'm like, oh god, they're going to make some horrible jokes. And they never do. They always treat him with respect, and they always listen to what he has to say, and he's a valued member of the crew.
They reserved the horrible jokes for the black guy and the disrespect for the women.
They didn't make fun of the black. They just called him big man.
Michael Caine says, we call him Big Willy. You know why?
I think in the 60s they probably said much worse.
Well, yeah.
I think in terms of this film and the time it was, released, again, the guy was, he didn't really have much screen time, but he was still like a valued member of the crew, and they always treated him with respect, and they were never negative about him.
Yeah. So, yeah, just to cap off my
What was your point?
my point was that the characters were too thin for me. I wish they were, like, beefed up a little.
Right, so the film starts with what I actually think is a completely beautiful shot of a car driving through like the Italian countryside.
Yeah.
He's going around the bend and you can see off the cliffs, and it looks wonderful.
Very fast as well.
Yeah.
I would say this whole movie looks beautiful.
Yeah.
There's no digital filmmaking, so they had to bring out the measuring tape for every shot and just pray that it's in focus. So it's an achievement.
And then I don't really understand what kind of happens, because he drives into a tunnel, and at the other end of a tunnel there's like a giant digger,
Yeah.
and he crashes into it. And I guess the implication is that the tunnel's dark, so he's crashed into this thing that he didn't see. But if you're in a dark tunnel, you expect to see the tunnel end. You know, you expect to see this big, like, semicircle of light at the end of it. And if there's a giant, like, digger silhouette in the way, you would probably slow down.
Yeah. Maybe there's a bend.
Yeah, maybe. But still, like...
Yeah. Like the whole turn of this movie, and this is like every 60s movie ever, which is every 60s movie is like a comedy, basically. A comedy first and then something else second. I feel that about like the early James Bonds, there's the Batman 66 series. Everything was such a comedic base.
Thing gets thrown off the cliff.
Yeah.
The car gets thrown off the cliff. We'll come to that later. I want to come to that later. And then the mafia standing on the hill. I like that. That's a nice touch. Then they disappear out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And you don't know who's died.
Friend of Michael Caine.
If you haven't heard Dan's Michael Caine impression, by the way, neither has anyone else. It's our worst listened to episode.
No, it's the worst rated episode. People listen to it. Like
Okay, and
200
then
people.
hated it.
Yeah. That's different. It was different. People did listen, and they did not like what they heard. So don't worry. I'm a man of the people. I will change my ways.
You're gonna rein in your Michael Caine impression.
Fuck no.
So Michael Caine, he gets out of prison,
Yeah.
and he gets picked up by his girlfriend.
Yeah. One of the 10 people he sleeps with during this movie.
10 people.
I've counted, yeah.
Did you actually?
Yeah. There's also a fun thing in this movie is like the pill was just invented.
Was it really?
Yeah.
No way.
So everyone's just fucking around. But there's two things that cause the sexual revolution. One is abortion rights, and the second one is the pill. And then that's why every 60s movie is like basically what you see in Austin Powers. Like everyone's just fucking around all the time. Because women were finally kind of sometimes free.
You know, you said the pill so many times, and I naturally assumed you meant like Viagra.
Oh, okay. No, the birth control pill.
Okay. Yeah, makes more sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, so is that his girlfriend? It's not clear. Because she comes out of prison and she's stolen the ambassador's car or something, and then takes him to a hotel room where there's like 5 girls waiting for him. But then later in the film, she gets real pissy because he's with another 3 girls. And he even says in the scene, like, oh, you didn't mind it the other day. And she's like, well, that was different. That was a present. What?
I think people were just trying to figure out what's this new thing now that people
What
are
are the
doing.
new rules?
What the new rules are, yeah. Yeah, I think he liked her based on later scenes.
I think in some ways it probably mirrors like today, where people are still trying to figure out the rules and everything's a bit more open and positive. And
Yeah, I feel like that was a big boom there in the 60s. I'm experiencing another boom right now.
yeah.
Well, yes.
Yeah,
Very smarty conversation.
yeah. Words and such. By the way, if you're enjoying this episode, please hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. And we also have a Patreon.
Where for £1 or $1 a month, you can listen to bonus episodes that we do and also recommend us movies and join a great community of people. Patreon.com/IHateYourMovie. It's also in the description box. Check it out. Thank you very much.
One of my favorite scenes in this, and it's very early on, is when he goes to pick up his car. I think at this point he's been to his tailor.
Oh, yeah.
He's taken his suit, and he looks magnificent, by the way. You know, he comes out in his beautiful suit. So he goes to pick up his Aston Martin, and he says to the guy, "Oh, I think that the carburetor is playing up." Just listen. He gets him to hold the door, and he takes his money out of the car. He's stashed it in the car, and then pays the man with it. So after sleeping with his 5 women, he then goes to visit the mob boss's wife, his friend who's died, who's been pushed off a cliff by the Italian mafia.
Yeah.
And he goes to visit his wife to console her.
Just leave with her too.
Yeah. And it's very matter of fact.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, oh, well, I'm so lonely. Okay, cool. And he starts taking his shoes off.
It's so weird.
And she gives him like the role of film.
Yeah.
This is where it begins, where kind of like people apparently film their heist plots.
Yeah, I heard you laugh at that. I think we both laughed at that. There's a scene later where the guy is walking around in Rome and is like in the busy Rome street. There's like, anyway, our plan is
Our plan is to rob the gold from over there.
over there and then drive over there, and then all these people come out and the traffic will stop there, and people are just looking at him like, what the fuck? It's like very documentarian style. It's like, as you can see here, the panopticon of the Greek Empire was this and that, but instead it's a heist.
Yeah. Actually, I think when we started watching this film, I think this is the second oldest film we've ever seen.
Yes.
The oldest being The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Mm-hmm. You have to finish it.
I did finish it.
No, it goes on for 5 more minutes. I think The Good, Bad, and Ugly holds up more narratively, and I look at that as more of a film, less than an artifact.
No, I disagree. In terms of pacing and logical storytelling, like apart from the Benny Hill character, who's just a crazy pervert, there's a lot of The Good and the Bad, the Ugly that I didn't feel a person would actually do.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas this film made sense, apart from the Benny Hill character.
I feel like those characters were so blank that you would put anything on them, because they were not really meaty, strong characters. Not even, I wouldn't say even two-dimensional characters. They're very, very simple. I feel like it's easy to project onto them.
I feel that's the same with Clint Eastwood's character. The Good and the
Clint
Bad.
Eastwood, yes.
Like, he's very kind of whatever you want him to be.
Although he has a morally grey character, but but like Tuco, you know what he's about.
Yeah.
You know what the bad is about. Angel Eyes.
Yeah, but that's 3 characters.
Yeah, there should have been less characters. That was my whole point.
Yeah, but there was like main characters, and then there was like set dressing.
Yeah, just extras they threw at the
Yeah.
screen.
Well, like one of my favorite parts as well is when he goes around the table and introduces everyone.
Yeah.
And that is the most pointless scene that's ever been in any film, because it's like, this is Dave, this is Greg, this is Nigel, this is Barry.
And they all look the same.
and they never come up again.
I mean, they're there. They drive around or carry shit or beat up police people. But yeah, I think the other half of the reason why there should have been less characters is more like a movie logic reason. Because wouldn't you want less people doing a heist so that less things can go wrong?
Yes, but they need a certain amount of people to get the heist done.
Yeah, I feel like it's still
It's
way
like
too
Ocean's
much.
11, you know? Ideally, you'd have 4 people,
Yeah.
but that doesn't make a very good film.
Ocean's 11 is a good comparison to this, I think. They should have done that thing where they're like, ooh, we need someone to fit in this event. We need a Chinese acrobat who's small and can, lift himself up and things like that. They should have done things like that, I feel like.
Yeah. The only thing you had like that was Benny Hill's character. You need someone to do the computer shit.
We need a pervert to distract the police. It's more about the fail-safes, When there's like more people you add, there's more liability that something gonna go wrong.
Mm.
And no matter how much you shout at them to do it faster, will
Yeah. Come on, lads. Do it faster. Look alive.
yeah.
Let's talk about Mr. Bridger, if that's his name.
Oh yeah, I've got a question about that.
Okay.
I might be very dumb,
Right.
and I just missed the whole plot. And I think why I got confused is because a lot of people look the same. A lot of people have the same hair, and it's all white people, and they all have the same physique, pretty much.
Bridger doesn't. He's an old man.
He's an old man, but in all the goons and stuff. So, Michael Caine goes into the prison warden, and he wants him to get into this heist, or get into the deal.
Fund the heist.
Fund the heist. That's
Yeah.
it. So why is there a scene right after he sends people to beat him up?
Yeah? You want me to run it down
Yeah,
for you?
please, because I was like, what? Why?
Right. So Michael Caine comes out of prison. He gets the reel of film from the guy, the dead guy.
Yes.
The dead guy has this brilliant plan how to steal 4 million gold. Michael Caine can't fund the venture himself, because he needs minis, he needs equipment, he needs people, and needs to be able to guarantee that they're going to get paid no matter what.
Yeah.
So then he goes to Mr. Bridger and he says, do you want to fund this heist? And Bridger's like, no, fuck off. And then Michael Caine breaks into Mr. Bridger's prison to try and convince him. Mr. Bridges is pissed off because he's like, I've already told you once. Now you're breaking into where I take a shit. You've crossed the line. So I'm going to send people to fuck you up. That's when they go fuck up Michael Caine.
Yeah.
Because he's pissed him off. And at the same time they're beating up Michael Caine, Mr. Bridger reads the paper and he's like, oh, the Chinese and the Italians are getting together doing this deal. Actually, Britain, for some reason. I need Michael Caine because he's going to hurt the Italians.
Okay. So he changes his mind from the beating.
Yeah.
Okay.
While pretty much in the film portrays it, it's like while the beating's happening,
Yeah.
he changes his mind.
That's also why I was confused. Does one of the guys who go beat up Michael Caine, is that Gay Tony or whatever his name is? Camp
Freddy.
Freddy.
Totally. I think he's there. Yeah, I think it's like Cam Freddy and then two muscles.
Yeah. And then that's why I was confused, because in the very next scene, after they beat him up and they have like a little tussle,
Yeah.
Michael Caine goes into this conference room and next to him is Gay Freddy is
Cam
like...
Freddy.
Camp Freddy is like... like he's, yes boss. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah. I think that's kind of it's a show of, even though these guys are gangsters, they've still got rules.
Sure.
They've still got, Michael Caine knows he's crossed the line and he's going to take a beating because of it, and he knows that. But at the same time, what if Mr. Bridger comes and asks him for help, then, it's time to step up.
Thank you for clearing out
You're
for
welcome. That's where he takes his shit.
me. Does he, though? That's my big question around the scene when Michael Caine breaks into the prison.
No, he doesn't take a shit. He doesn't get to take a shit, and that's why he gets Michael Caine beaten up.
Okay. He's an old guy. He could just shit himself.
Shit on Michael Caine.
Yeah. Oh, you're shitting all over me.
That was the worst one yet. That was truly the worst one yet. That sounded like somewhere between Michael Caine and Kermit the Frog.
It ain't easy to being green. What do you think about... You love effects in movies.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you don't like when an effect looks bad. What do you think about the rear projection technology in this movie?
It's fantastic.
It's very funny.
It's very of its time, and I love it. I love the fact they just did not even try.
No.
They just did not even try to make it look realistic. They came to the conclusion, this isn't going to look realistic no matter what we do.
Yeah.
So we're just going to do minimal effort and try and draw people into the forefront.
My favorite bit is actually his girlfriend with the stolen car. When she's like driving around like, Maggie in The Simpsons.
Yeah, like left,
right. And then the car from the rear projection is clearly just going forward, like straight forward.
No, my favourite one, hands down, no matter what, is the bus.
The bus, yeah.
The bus, where you can't even see the rear windscreen. It is literally just a road driving down, projected onto them. You can see it projected on their face.
Some of that was almost like, was it done like artistically?
No, I don't.
Because it's so weird. It's so weird and it's so unnatural looking that I almost like it as like a weird artistic thing.
Yeah.
It
was fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved it. The movie really tells you kind of what's going to happen. It tells you how the heist is going to kind of play out, but it never really shows you, the location. It never has that scene where like the 3 guys or 5 guys are standing around a map and they've got little toy cars and it's like, right, this is going to go here and these are going to go here. You never really get a sense of
the details.
Yeah. But you do, because they tell you like they're going to come into the plaza here and the Land Rover is going to cut them off here. But you don't get that visual representation that you normally get of how the heist is going to go.
That was a good idea because there were some surprises there.
Mm-hmm. So that was my question to you. Did you enjoy the prep for the heist?
Yeah, I think I did. Yeah, I think they gave us just enough information.
Yeah.
And has the famous "you're supposed to blow the bloody doors off" scene.
Yes. So in 2003,
yeah,
a UK movie survey voted that line as the most memorable line in all of cinema.
Whoa. All of cinema?
That's what it says. You're only supposed to blow the bloody doors off.
I only heard it from you. Did you write that magazine?
In 2003.
Yeah.
I really enjoy that they only show in the preparation the things that go wrong.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
They blow up the entire van instead of only blowing the bloody doors off.
Blowing blah 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 blah.
And they just crash a bunch of minis
Yeah.
for no good reason.
Because it's fun.
I'm assuming you've seen like a 1960s mini in real life.
No, 60s one.
No?
A modern one for sure.
Genuinely, like, you would think it's a go-kart.
I mean, yeah. Yeah.
Like, it is that small.
Mm.
Like, it's to say it's a mini is generous
Yeah.
in size.
Yeah.
Like, they are absolutely minuscule.
Hey, this is a good car for a heist. It's inconspicuous. I mean, I know they got the cars, but still, it's a bit dodgy to think it holds all that bar. It's really fucking heavy.
Yeah, well, that's why they do so much work on the suspension. and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
And they do it really quickly.
Do it faster.
Hurry up.
I like that they even acknowledge that the guy was like, I'm just doing it. I'm supervising, like I'm supervising the work. Do it faster. Like, what? Do faster what?
Supervise fast.
Supervise faster.
The Fiat company saw the potential of marketing in this film, and they tried to kind of push the filmmakers to make the car the Fiat 500. That's why there's so many Fiat 500s in this film. Like, in the traffic scene, they are everywhere. I didn't actually think they were that old. I thought they were just cars that people buy now because they're so popular at the minute.
Yeah.
They're so expensive, like, in comparison to all the other cars. But the guy said, no, it's a British film. It has to be minis. And so they went to the Mini Corporation, the Mini company.
It was very small.
Yeah, the Mini company.
They knocked on the doorhouse. We're having a tea party.
Knocked on the door house. Hello. What would you like? Yeah, like, I'd like to borrow some minis, please. I don't want to lend you any minis. You can fuck off, you slag. Mini were like, no, we're not going to lend you any cars for this film.
Yeah.
So the ones that they totaled is kind of like, that was it.
Yeah.
I think they made the right choice.
Yeah. Let's talk about women. The mood
Like,
just dropped.
yeah. In my head just went.
Hey, it's not the worst it could have been. I found it more funny than insulting.
Yeah.
Little things like there's a boardroom scene where the boss is dictating something and there's 3 secretaries writing down what he's saying. These like great jobs women do. Interesting. I don't know if they did this on purpose, but like in England, when they shoot the England scenes, all the women like, yeah, secretary is writing down stuff. Or my favorite was a boss gets a phone call, so secretary picks up the phone and gives it to him. That's a very important job. But in Italy, they work.
Yeah.
They work in the, the traffic control.
Mm-hmm.
It looked pretty egalitarian to me. They had suits. They were in control at the beginning. So all the sex stuff was funny and refreshing.
Refreshing.
Because, yeah, you forget how hard that was squashed in the 80s. 60s, well, the sexual revolution happened. And then it's just like, it was crushed hard in the 80s with Thatcherism and Reaganism. It was not equal, but it was fun.
Yeah.
And then there's some backtalk. It was like, shut up, girlfriend, go away. Leave this movie
I
now.
found that to be a weird scene, to be honest with you. Like, the kind where he drops her off at the airport.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're not going to be part of this anymore.
After I've shown you everything.
Yeah, and it's kind of like, no, I care too much about you to let you be involved in this heist.
Yeah, I like that. That shows that he likes her, and that was their little story. That would have been like a prime opportunity to get her, although it would have been maybe too much, but to get her on like the other side, and maybe she would be like a liability after that.
Okay.
That she starts talking to the Italian government or
I
something.
think it'd have been cool if she just did the heist.
What was she gonna do anyway?
She was going to do what any of the other characters did,
Yeah,
you know?
she's gonna hold up Benny Hill as he changes a tape. Old computer on magic.
I was surprised to see the use of CCTV and computers in this film.
Yeah.
How accurate do you think the CCTV systems in this film are?
That's a very good question. I feel like not at all.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I feel like that was more like a sci-fi.
Yeah, right?
Computer I can imagine, But that was always felt like magic to me, because I understand this was like kind of like a middle road solution of computing between the old one was before 50s, 60s was punch cards. You basically put binary code on a punch cards and feed it to a computer and it analyzes it because it had no memory. And then the tape was in the middle. And I remember like when I had like a Commodore 64,
Yeah.
I had games on the tape.
Yeah.
How the
like a
fuck
little
does that
cassette
work?
tape. Yeah.
And then you put it in as a like a boombox as a test, and it goes. But yeah, how does that work? The tape,
I don't know.
so magical and weird. I was wondering how much of this is James Bond, a response to James Bond, a James Bond by its crime
Yeah.
thing, because there was lots of different things like the fucking around all the time and the prestige and like secrecy, cool cars and like confident leading man. I was wondering if it was like they looked at James Bond and was like, let's like break the rules a little bit and let's do that but criminal. That's a cool idea.
Yeah, it's a valid point. It's the same with like Kingsman. It's like, let's do James Bond, but put some dick jokes in there.
Yeah.
There was a fact in the trivia about the 3 cars that they threw off the cliff,
Yeah.
but I deemed it not interesting enough to copy, and now I wish I had, because it feels like it would be interesting.
Okay. Was
They-
the whole movie made so that they drop cars off cliffs? Because that's what kind of it feels like.
My note is when they throw the minis off at the end,
Yeah.
and my note is like at the bottom of mountain ranges in Italy, just littered with broken cars.
I wrote environmentally unfriendly mafia. Yeah.
I think the fact generally was that the Aston Martin they threw off the cliff was a fake, but the other 2 were real,
Yeah.
and they actually crushed them.
And I bet that was the whole reason they wanted to do this whole film. Because there's so many cars going off cliffs.
So one of those cars that got destroyed was lost.
Alright.
They found it later in the thing I read described it as a secret garage.
Okay.
I don't know what a secret garage is.
But it's destroyed.
It wasn't, so it was partly destroyed, and they found it in this garage, then they restored it
Okay.
and sold it on auction for just millions and millions of pounds.
I feel like the restoring was pointless. Because you would buy it for kind of movie prop reasons, right?
Yeah.
They're still finding original Star Wars props in Tunisia.
Really?
Yeah, it's some weird name for it. It's like neo-archaeology. When they like find like sci-fi skeletons in the sand in Tunisia from the 70s.
So what did they do? Just abandon the sets? They built these sets
Yeah,
and then
because
it was
it was
like,
the 70s.
see you later, bye.
Yeah, that was the attitude. You can see it in this film. Okay, let's talk about the heist. The heist itself. There's a connection between this and Good, Bad and the Ugly. Not like a behind-the-scenes thing, but like a very obvious in-your-face thing.
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
It's throwing extras in front of the camera. Thousands and thousands of extras. People who didn't know they're part of a movie. That's something you don't really see in the movies nowadays. At all, really. Which is like genuine chaos, with like a giant scale. Did you read that trivia where it said they got the mafia?
Yeah.
The Italian mafia.
It said here, the authorities refused to close the roads, but the Italian mafia stepped in to shut whole sections of Turin down for filming. The traffic jams in the movie are real, and the people's actions in them also are.
Yeah. And that's why a big part of why I love this movie is that you never see that today.
Oh God, no.
But it's so fun. It's really good. And their willingness to, even if it's like it's a AAA, studio movie, but they're willing to get the mafia involved and like cause genuine chaos in the middle of a city just to get a few seconds of shots here and there. That's great.
Yeah, it's
I love
amazing.
it. Yeah.
What did you think about the high-tech way that everything starts kicking off? Camera footage. There's one guy dressed head to toe in England gear, putting tiny little boxes in bins next to the cameras. So he turns it on and it goes, and he puts it in a bin, and that's it. The camera stops working.
I mean, it's hilarious.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how accurate do you think that is?
But just the technology.
The technology and the idea that you can kind of remotely stop a 1960s camera with a box.
They had an EMP in 1969. That was a toy model train That was in the trivia.
Yeah.
And it looked like a toy model train in a glass box.
Yes, it is.
They didn't do much to disguise it. Yeah, -5.
-5. Yeah, it just seemed weird to me. Like, you would just have a guy cutting the cables. You know, there has to be a wire from the CCTV down to the thing, because nothing's wireless at that point.
Yeah.
So you just chop, done. Like, I don't know, maybe they just wanted to seem more impressive. We used technology.
I think they more went like, no one understands this shit,
Yeah.
so we can just do it. It's the same way in the original Tron. It's like, no one understands how computrons work. Like,
Computrons.
Yeah, we can just say, you know, there's people inside, it's fine. Can we talk about that guy, the most English guy on a holiday ever, where he goes to Italy and he complains about the foreigners in Italy? That's every English people on holiday.
I think does he go and ask someone for directions? Or
Yeah.
is he just walking around the city?
He goes directions and someone politely tells him where to go and he goes, bloody foreigners. Why? With this giant England ribbon.
Yeah.
Why is there such a Where's Waldo representation?
Because England's red and white.
Is it Wally or Waldo in here?
It's Wally in England.
Okay.
It's Waldo everywhere else.
They specifically wear the Where's Wally outfit.
No, they don't.
Yeah, it's like
no.
the hat, the scarf.
The scarf is red and white stripes.
Yeah, and the
Yeah.
hat with the pom-pom on or
Yeah.
whatever it's called.
But the Where's Wally is by his top.
Yeah.
His top is red and white.
And it's a skinny white guy. Like all British people.
The entirety of this film. At no point is someone wearing a red and white stripy top. You're thinking of the extra Where's Wally section, you know? You know that bit at the end? It's like, oh, you found Wally in these 12 pages. Now find his hat. Now find the wizard. You know, now find his dog.
Now find his confidence.
Now find his sense of self.
Yeah, just him crying on the beach, looking out. It's so striking to me. Everyone looked like Wally.
Okay.
I don't know why you can't see that. I know it's England.
It's
I understand it's
yeah.
England colours, but the specific outfit was very that.
I don't think Waldo's or Wally's hat is red and white stripes. I think it's red with a white pom-pom like a Santa hat.
Ooh, I don't think so. This is controversy.
Or like the other way around. It's white with a red pom-pom.
I'm gonna do research. No.
I'm gonna do research right now. You're not gonna edit fail me.
Yeah,
Like
that's my favorite thing to do.
Yeah, I know that. I know that.
Blumhouse.
I know when I've made valid points that you've immediately cut out of the final edit.
Yeah.
I'm well aware.
And make a clip out of it and put wrong in front of your face. Large red letters.
Okay, so I don't think this is stripy, right? So I'm going to show you a hat.
Yeah.
I'm going to show you a Where's Wally hat.
Yeah.
I would not say this is a stripy red and white hat. I would say it's a white hat with a red thing. Red, what do we call it? You know, where you fold it up.
Yeah.
That. See, that is not a red and white stripe.
At least one stripe.
There is one red stripe.
Well, can we see a picture of Wally?
Okay.
Can you find one? This is our Where's
Just
Wally
see-
segment on the internet.
All I can find is many different outlets where you can buy this hat, and they're all the same. There he is, wearing his hat.
Does it look like that?
It does look like that, and there we go.
Okay. I would say that's at least one stripe.
It has a red section,
Yeah.
but it's not a red and white stripy hat.
Maybe I was inspired by this movie. Or vice versa.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put it past them in the 60s where everything was a joke. It's like, let's put a bunch of Wallys in here.
So it was invented by a British guy.
Okay.
That's maybe how English fans dressed.
Mm-hmm.
And he just came to the conclusion that wherever you are in the world, there's an England fan
Yeah.
dressed like an England fan.
Yeah.
So your job is to find them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're in a bar. You're in a Weatherspoons in central London. Where's Waldo? There he is. He's dressed as the guy dressed as an England fan over there. You're in Greater Manchester at the Primark. Where's the guy dressed like an England fan? There he is.
Wow, we learned so much today. One of my favorite bits in this film, in terms of outfits, is that so there's different colored cars, are the minis,
Yeah.
UK colored, UK flavored car.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the outfits matched.
Did they have red ones, red jumpsuits for a red mini?
Yeah,
Did they?
yeah.
I thought they were all just blue.
No, there was red, white, and blue. And
Yes.
it's really cute. I was like, oh, that's so cute.
Nice touch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the fact that it's, red, white, and blue, but it's not American.
Yeah.
America takes the whole red, white, and blue.
No, you can't just take primary colours.
We were here first.
Well, speaking of that, I saw the Hungarian flag everywhere in this movie.
Yeah?
Bloody Italians and the upside down Hungarian flags. Or tilted 90 degrees. And then when it's a ribbon, it just looks like a Hungarian flag. I really liked the heist, the chase scene. I was wondering...
Oh my god, that chase. I loved how long that chase scene was.
I liked how long it was. I wish it was a bit more clear on how many people chasing them.
Yes, that was the one note I had. I think pretty late on through the thing, and one of my notes was, where do these police keep coming from?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Because it's always one,
Yeah.
and then they lose that one, like, very obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they get stuck in the river or something.
Yeah.
So it can't be that one again.
Mm-hmm.
So there's another one following them.
Yeah.
And the other thing I kind of didn't like is that I felt like they drove through locations where they were drawing attention to themselves. Like,
Yeah,
like through a mall.
When you drive through a wedding.
Yeah, but it was funny, but like it was not really in the spirit of the heist. It was like, let's sneak out of here through the giant steps of a wedding.
Do you know the director of that scene notified the Italian government about they were going to use on the steps,
Yeah.
but he said they were going to use machinery. He never told them they were going to drive cars down the steps, and they weren't happy.
Did the wedding know? Did the bride know? I mean, I'm dubious with all this, they're willing to cause giant upset in the Italian economy.
I would 100%. If my wedding was planned,
Yeah.
like for that day on them steps, and Michael Caine came to me and was like, "Excuse me, we want to film on your wedding day. I'm gonna drive through your wedding photos." I'd be like, "Yeah, cool, nice one."
I feel like they would steal the show a little bit.
Oh, it'll be cool. Imagine like your wedding being on film for people to watch 50 years from now.
Yeah.
It'd be amazing. What was your favourite part of the getaway?
Ooh. It's very wacky races. I don't know. Can we run through the different scenarios?
Yeah, so we've got down the stairs through the mall. One bit I really liked is the floor cleaner. When they go round the corner and
yeah.
there's a guy cleaning the floor.
He's mopping the floor and the police car skids out.
Yeah. Then you've got, they drive through the railway, like the subway tunnel.
Yes.
Yep. And then they drive on top of a big building.
Oh, that was very interesting. Yeah.
Yep. Do you know what that is, by the way?
No.
That's the Fiat factory.
Might as well use all the bits they can get.
They park in the mini showroom.
Mm-hmm.
And then they drive over the river. And then they drive on a race course. Don't know why. Then they do the rooftop jump. That is also the Fiat headquarters.
Yeah.
And half of the Fiat workers refused to be in the building. They just left that day because they thought they were going to have like fatalities.
Mm-hmm.
So they refused to be part of it.
I'm surprised they weren't.
It's crazy.
There's stunts in this movie.
Then they go through the tunnel,
Yeah.
the underground tunnel, and that's it.
I like even though it doesn't really make sense, the mini showroom.
There's perfectly free spaces.
Perfectly free spaces for a British car thing. You have to like really set that up, like nothing can go wrong thing, Well, that was fun. It's like a comedy bit.
My favourite is the tunnel by
tunnel
far.
was really good, yeah.
Tunnel was really good. Oh my god. I really thought that mini was going to flip.
Yeah.
There's one moment where it really drives up the side and we both were like, whoa!
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the end of the heist. It's just them driving around, crashing cars.
Yeah.
One thing I didn't understand, and I don't really want to end, because we're getting towards the end now, I don't want to end the episode on a nitpicky little thing.
You don't want to end the episode on a giant cliffhanger like
Hey.
away this movie.
Here's just one question I have for the filmmakers and for everyone in general. Why can't the bus just stop? Why do they have to drive onto the bus while it's driving down the motorway?
Because it's cool, yo.
Surely it would make much more sense to have that bus parked at the side of the road somewhere and all three minis drive into it and then the bus drives away. Like, you are drawing way more attention to yourself going down the motorway with giant metal things coming out of the back of the truck, and then you have to drive onto them while it's moving.
Maybe because they couldn't risk stopping.
Yeah,
That's the only thing I can think
seems
of.
thin.
Yeah, it is.
And then after all that as well, obviously they have to unload the minis, but they then throw the minis off the cliff.
What are they gonna do? They have to destroy the evidence.
Hmm.
And how else are you gonna destroy evidence in the 1969 Italy by throwing things off the cliff? The most secure way to destroy evidence ever.
Let's talk about cliffs
And endings
and endings.
and hangings. Big Willy does a Big Willy. I don't know.
That makes no sense.
Big Willy does a big whoopsie,
He does do a big whoopsie.
which I saw coming. And
Can you do me a favour? Just from every moment from when we said cliffs and hangers, can you just slowly bring in Self-Preservation Society? Just
like the movie does.
have it really, really quiet in the beginning and just bring it up.
Okay. Then it's gonna be louder than
Yeah.
us speaking.
And it just fades us out completely. And then just as it gets to a certain level, fade us out.
Yeah. Okay. I'll do that. He skids out. Half the bus hangs in the air off the cliff.
Yep.
That half has the gold on it.
Mhm.
And then the other half has the people in it, and that's how the movie ends. Which I got so much thoughts on that.
I think I said to you when we finished watching the film was I was so curious whether you knew the ending of this film or if you knew how this film ended.
When it happened, I remembered you telling me
Yeah.
because you told me,
Okay.
but I didn't remember. It came into my mind that you told me that happened.
I remember when the credits started rolling on this.
Yeah.
You out loud was like, "Really?"
Yeah, I've got so many conflicting feelings about that because I'll start with the negative.
Okay.
Because I feel like the movie, it goes like, oh, we show kids all this criminal activity. We should have a teachable moment. This movie is suddenly about greed. Like, it wasn't about greed. Shut the fuck up. Don't start proselytizing all of a sudden. Don't start teaching us that this is all bad, Because it was fun up to that point.
But I mean, I think for a long time, the film had a general rule that the bad guys couldn't win. I think I read somewhere that that's why this film ends that it does. You couldn't have them get away with it.
Okay.
But their solution wasn't that they got caught. It was left ambiguous. And that was their kind of like workaround.
The other side is that I love this ending. Even though it feels kind of like a last minute lesson.
Yeah.
But like I love that it's just like, oh fuck. And that's just how it ends.
Hold on, lads. I've got an idea.
Yeah.
That's it.
Do you think there's a way out of it?
I do. I read on the trivia. Did you read on the trivia?
I didn't, but I came up with one.
Cool. So there was two, actually, that were conflicting. Apparently one came from Michael Caine, one came from like an idea from the writer or producer or something. The two endings was, one, they all jumped off the bus.
Yeah.
And they let it go down the hill, and the mafia stole the gold at the bottom of the hill. And the sequel was going to be them getting the gold from the mafia again.
Oh, so this is like an official story explanation.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the second one, there was a air quotes, official story explanation, is that they left the engine running because the gas tank is on the back of the bus. So they left the engine running and it tilted it back up.
Mm-hmm.
But then, same thing, after that, they got the gold off the bus to get the mafia catch up with them, and they took it. And the sequel was going to be them again taking the gold off the mafia.
Yeah. I feel like they had a way to solve it, but they quickly ruined it. Because what happens is they skid out, and then they're pretty evenly distributed in the bus.
Mm-hmm.
If they just stopped there, they could have formed a conveyor belt of people.
Yeah.
And just move the gold. But no, they do the stupid thing of immediately going to the end of the bus.
What thing is, it didn't really make sense physically.
No,
because,
it doesn't, no.
They're all distributing the bus, and then they go to the back.
Yeah.
Michael Caine, at that point, should have been able to go to the gold, pick up
Yeah.
a bar, take it to the thing, and go back and forth.
Yeah.
But that's the fun about the ending, you
Yeah.
know? That's what makes it so great, is you can sit there for days and kind of come up with plans and strategies of how
Yeah.
they're going to get out of it. And you never know what Michael Caine's character would have come up with. Would he have tried to drag it?
Yeah.
Who knows? You could do so many different things.
I feel like it was ballsy to end like that.
Yeah.
It was fun as well. I loved it.
Last fun fact of the day. For the bus scene that was teetering on the edge of the cliff, that bus was actually teetering on the edge of the cliff.
Well, yeah, how else are you going to do that? Yeah.
And then when they filmed the external scenes from the cliff, they filmed it on a helicopter, and the helicopter's downdraft actually pushed the bus like towards the edge of the cliff. They have to get the stunt crew to hold on to the front of the bus so that it didn't fall off the cliff.
Fuck.
Excellent.
This was a fun film.
Good. I'm glad you liked it.
This might be my turn off my brain kind of film.
Okay.
But term doesn't completely apply, but it was just like a whole lot of fun and don't think about it for me. I did bring up some issues that I had, but I didn't want to super analyze it because it is just fun. And they had fun. Self-preservation society. By the way, I was going in my head for like 3 days straight after we watched that movie. And it's not the nicest earworm. You know, it's not like a complete song. It's just like one loop over and over and over again. I rate it a 7.
7. Wow.
Yeah. Had lots of fun. It's a movie that doesn't hold up, but it's fun to watch.
Oh, it fairly well holds up compared to the other films of its time.
Sure.
I think if you watched a Carry On camping film, you'd come away much kind of more offended.
You are usually the person who can't look at things through historical lens.
Yeah.
And usually I can. And I feel like I'm looking at this movie through historical lens. But I'm glad it holds up for you.
Cool. I would also say 7.
Yeah.
Because
Nice.
it's cool.
Matchies.
Whoop whoop.
Right.
Cool. Right, that's goodbye from I agree with your movie.
Yeah. Wait.
Oh god, you're actually getting props.
So,
I'm trying to see what's under this table that you're about to grab.
I wrote down the movie we're going to watch.
You wrote it down. Why'd you?
I'm going to hand it to you on a paper.
Jesus Christ. See, here I am trying to be nice. You know, we got into this petty kind of war. I did Top Gun, you did Partners, and I was trying to be nice. You know, I thought you'd like Italian Job, and you did like Italian Job. We both said 7, and you've written down Doctor Strange, and underneath it says love, I imagine. No, it doesn't. Yes, it does. There you go.
It doesn't just say that.
You know how I learned to stop worrying, and love the bomb.
That's the full title of that movie.
Yeah, I know.
I
knew it from the. You're not gonna watch Doctor Strange.
Not even for a split second.
Nope,
I fooled you.
Not even a millisecond.
Boo. Yeah, so we're gonna watch Doctor Strange.
Love,
or something bomb.
Yep.
So this will be the oldest film we ever watch.
Yeah.
I was thinking I'll watch another old.
Okay. Is this film black and white? I feel like it's.
It is black and white. You don't like black and white, but it's not. What about black and white? Not for artistic reasons, but budget reasons, because it was genuine.
I just don't like it.
It's genuinely a consideration back then. Consideration for budget, whether you should do black and white or color.
Yeah. So weirdly, out of this, today I watched a video on how different countries introduced color.
Okay.
Live on air.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there was one. I think it was the UK that pushed a button and it just turned colour. I think there was one in Turkey where they pulled like a massive cracker.
Yeah.
And as they went, they pushed the button to turn the colour on. The French one, that was boring as fuck. They were just like all standing around looking at each other. And then it went colour. And the guy was like, colour. And it was boring as anything. And the Australian one was mad.
Yeah.
It was mad. So it was like, they filtered it so like, it kind of came in from the right. They must have done some filter over the film. And so it came in from the right, and there's like a guy dressed in drag, and he's like, ow, there's colour coming through the window. It's getting everywhere. And then it starts raising up from the bottom, and it's like, they're going to drown me in the colour. And then the guy coming like from the bottom, like on his hands and knees, and he's pretending to swim, and he comes up like to the black and white bit. It's like, he pretends to swim.
That guy's dead now.
Yeah, they're all dead now. I think it was like 74 or something.
Yeah.
It was pretty late. But just the comparison between the French one that was like, couleur. Sorry to the every
to everyone with any language.
Yeah, and the Australian one was it was hilarious.
Yeah. So Doctor Strange, love, or the Bum Bum Bum, love, love, love. It's a Stanley Kubrick film.
Yeah.
It's gonna be the first Stanley Kubrick film we watch. It is a comedy.
Okay.
It's very dry. I'm curious how you're gonna take that. I love it.
I will go into it with an open mind, but I feel like this is a top 5 film.
It's a
Incoming.
Stanley Kubrick. Can't be top 5 worst movies ever.
Yeah, I feel it.
If you if you put it over Chopping Mall, I'd be personally offended. You can't do that to me. You can't do that to cinema. You can't call yourself a film lover and like Shopping Mall more than Doctor Strange love.
We shall see.
There's a lot of political stuff in it as well, which is going to be fun to get into, and then cut later. Anyway,
Yep.
bye.
Bye.